Alright, so I thought it might be time for me to make a video like this. I've been putting it off for a while actually. It's been roughly 4 months since I gave my last update, and to give some context, about 6 months ago I left my job. I quit my job, which was paying around $5,000 to $5,500 a month. I quit that. I was working that for about 3 years, and that was a really easy gig, great gig. Things were going great. No specific reason to leave. But I really wanted to push and go for the whole solo founder, do my own thing kind of life and lifestyle. And that's kind of something that I've always wanted to do. So I was like, you know what? I was feeling really frustrated within myself because I was like, time is just passing and I'm not getting any closer to achieving that goal or doing that which I wanted to do. So let me just go ahead and do it. There's obviously a lot of backstory to how I got to that point as well. But yeah, anyways, I got there, I quit, and then I started working on automations as like an agency type of thing, as well as continued working on my SaaS PanelDesk. Now that SaaS PanelDesk, I started working on it in May of 2025. So we are coming up, we're going into the 11th month now. Sorry, we just wrapped up the 11th month because it was at the very beginning of May. So now it's the 3rd of March at the moment. So 11 months we've been working on it. And I put a lot of effort into that, obviously. So to give context as to why I also stopped the posting was because I just felt like the ROI on making the videos and putting my energy and effort into that wasn't there. So it wasn't necessarily worth it. So I was like, you know what? Let me focus on the business. Let me try and make some cash. And yeah, then maybe I will pick up these videos again. And also another thing was that you'll see like month 1, I was like, oh, I made X amount of money this month. And then month 2, I was like, oh, I made this amount of money. And then in month 3, I must say, I didn't make nearly as much as that. I can't remember exactly how much I made, but I think I didn't even make $1,000. To be frank. And yeah, it was definitely humbling, I would say, because, and also I was like, damn, what kind of video is that going to be? I'm going to, it's, you don't want to post that. Yeah, you don't really, because it's like, ideally, and this is the pressure I was feeling, was like, I have to each month post that I'm making more money. Although that wasn't necessarily the goal, because I wanted to push my PanelDesk SaaS product that I've been working on, which is a quoting to job cards invoicing system for panel beaters here in South Africa. And I really wanted to push that. And if I wanted to push that, I could not necessarily keep making more money each month because that was mainly coming from the previous work, because I was working like a bit part-time for them, and then also doing the automation agency kind of things. But that was eating a lot of time. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to do away with that and focus just on PanelDesk. So that gives a bit of context as to what happened way back then, which was give or take 4 months ago. And since then, and where I'm at now, and the reason why I'm making this video is just because I feel that it is very important to remember these types of times, and it's very easy to forget them, because unfortunately, as much as I wish I could be sitting here and making this video and saying that things are dandy and going great and woohoo, we're at 10k MMR or whatever, it's not the case at all. It's quite a humbling reality check, should I say. But yeah, so where we are now is I focused heavily on PanelDesk. The product is out, it works, very robust. And yeah, early Jan, I started contacting a lot of panel beating businesses, and I was cold calling. I did a combination, I've been doing a combination of cold calling as well as driving out to the panel beaters to try and obviously sell them the software and get them to start using it. But unfortunately, I guess a reality check is I'm pulling close to 150 businesses now that I've discussed and spoken with. And yeah, unfortunately, I only have one paying customer, which is not something I'm very proud of or happy about per se, because it doesn't feel too good. I've been working, like I said, this is about the 11th month now, and it's very tough. And I think this is what some people and other people that you might see on the internet don't see, is that, they don't speak about this, or at least I haven't seen them. I'm sure there are maybe, but I just haven't seen them. And I thought, let me be open and honest and transparent about this. And obviously one day when things are better again, I would like to remember these times as vividly as I can. So that's why I want to make this video, so that I can speak about it. And there's also a few other reasons, but But that's the main gist of it is, you work so hard and long on a product. And I'm sure there are people out there that also work long and hard on a product, and they're very passionate about it, and they're very happy about it. And then when they take it to market, it doesn't go to plan at all. They don't want to use it. They don't want to try it. Maybe it breaks. It doesn't work. In my case, I found that, it works really well. The one shop that's running it is going great guns. And because of them, I'm thankfully at $29 MRR. So, woohoo. But at least, that guy keeps me away from zero. So I guess the difference between $0 and $29 is a lot. So I guess it is still cool, but yeah, the product works. But what I found is that the people they don't necessarily want to switch over. They don't even want to give it a try at all, even though I'm offering it like 30 days free, 50% off, whatever. It's much cheaper than the competition, blah, blah, blah. They just don't really want to try it. So yeah, it's very demotivating, but we keep pushing and we're going on. Doesn't matter. So we're moving forward on that front. And I think another thing of like my mindset, I think is also quite important to touch on, because I must say, I think of my father. He started his own business, a panel beating company. It's also one of the reasons as to why I built PanelDesk, was because my dad is in the field as well. I would have absolutely loved to see what it was like when he first started his business, and the struggles and the hardship that he went through, and also what was his mental state exactly at the time when these things are happening. And that's another reason as to why I'm making this video, is because, one day I would like to have kids, and I would like them to also see this. And I'm sure maybe if they want to see it, obviously, but if they don't, then whatever. But if it was me, I would like to see it. And I would like to understand, like where I am now. I know my dad was at some point, and I know many other people have been there, and many more people will get to this point as well. And I think it would be great to just hear someone else's perspective. But anyways, moving on to the whole mindset thing, is that right now where I'm at, I think I am probably, I would say, at the lowest point. It's a bold statement, but I'm definitely at the lowest point of my life, I believe. I had some hardship, obviously, and we all have. And look, I'm not saying that my life is hard and, I've got it the hardest. Definitely not. But if I had to compare it to everything, I believe that I am going through the most difficult time I have personally gone through. It's, once again, multiple reasons for that. But I'm the kind of guy that a lot of people look at and they're like, oh, damn, he's so great. He's doing so well. And when I say great, it's more financially, because obviously I had the good contract and I was making decent cash, whatever. And, I got that at the age of 22. So, it's great. Well done. But now, it's been 6 months that I quit and left it. And I had done side things during that time, as much as I shouldn't have. And they did shit on me for it, which I apologize and stopped. But, I did side projects to even just prove it to some of my friends. I was like, look, you can make money so easily, blah, blah, blah. And then we did a side project, and we generated, I remember in the 1 month we generated, it was 50,000 Rand. So I think it's like just over $3,000 in 1 month. And I was like, look how easy it is. What. And when I left, I had the same mentality. I was like, oh, this is going to be chips for me. I'm going to, I remember I even spoke to a friend of mine. I was like, oh, don't worry. Like in 2 months, I'm going to be, I'm pretty sure I'll be sitting close to 10K, whatever. Like, very confident, very, very confident, maybe slightly arrogant, I don't know, but very confident. And now we're sitting probably 6 months later, and my SaaS is sitting at $29 monthly recurring revenue at the moment. Humbling to say the least. And yeah, and then, obviously that sucks, but it's definitely not for a lack of trying. And I'm not giving up. I have to keep on going, keep moving forward. And this video is not like a pity party thing at all. It's more a thing of, let me be transparent of where I'm at now, and when I make it, and when these things are going great, it's not like this time didn't happen. Because hypothetically, if I was to then just make a video 3 years from now and be like, oh yeah, my SaaS is at 10K. Ooh, yeah. Life is great. Blah, blah, blah. Then other people will look at this. I will have forgotten to a degree what this time was like. And other people will be like, oh, wow. It's so easy. And then maybe when they going through this stuff as well, or if my kid one day goes through this, then he's also going to think, oh, my dad did it so easily, or he didn't struggle. Oh, damn, there goes my lights. Alexa, set the lounge lights to white. Yeah, there we go. All right. Damn, I lost that. Derailed me a little bit. But basically, I guess it was just, my kid might one day go through something similar. He might want to do his own thing and then be like, oh, my dad had it so easy. Like, I don't know the struggles my dad went through either. I don't know the struggles that anyone went through close to me, like this, to be quite frank. Like, and in saying that then brings me to a point where in this journey, I feel extremely alone. I think that's also another thing that people don't really talk about. I think in saying that I'm probably at the lowest point in my life, I think it is a big part of it is that I feel so alone. I feel like, look, I've been a very confident guy. I used to back myself in everything, and I still do. But I must say, I am the most doubtful of myself that I have ever been. And I hate to say it. But it is the truth. And I could also just put like a video out saying like, oh, I don't doubt myself. I don't stress. I don't worry about jack squat. But it's not true. And yeah, the whole point is obviously to be transparent. But yeah, so definitely feel extremely alone in the journey. Have pretty much no one to speak to about this and like in the journey. Not that I don't have people around me. And I think this is also something. I think a lot of people experience this too. Like where you got people around you, but even when you're with them, you still feel alone. And I'm sure everyone has felt like that at some point. So they can relate to a degree. And, that's just how I'm feeling at the moment in this specific journey that I'm in. And yeah, I have never felt like this before. I have always felt like, very proud of myself. Like, I'm the guy, I'm this, I'm that. I used to do the gymnastics training and I was pretty decent at it. And then I, was obviously very proud of that. Then I was working hard. I got the big contract and I was very proud of that. And I was like, I was the shit basically in my head, And I think to a degree, it also made me not such a nice person. I think it definitely got to my head a little bit. And I also found that I would base my worth on that contract or on that physique or what I could do and things like that. Like, that's what I was worth. And now that I'm not like that anymore, now I don't have that contract. Now I don't have that physique that I used to have. It does break you down. And I'm not proud of myself at the moment at all. And that sucks to say. That really sucks to say because there was a time where I really was. And I think, and then that also brings it to like, people will say to me like, oh, Sam, you are so great. You are so good. Oh my goodness, dude. Like this and that and whatever. And I sincerely appreciate everyone that says the positive comments about me and what I had achieved and so forth and so forth. Because obviously for the people around me, that what I had done was pretty decent. It wasn't, it was pretty good. Not that, in the greater scheme of things, I didn't really achieve anything, but to the people around me, it was great. And to me at the time as well, I couldn't believe it really. I was quite blown away by it. So yeah, anyways, I think I can ramble on forever about this, to be honest. But I guess the gist is that things are really hard at the moment and very tough. And I think anyone that wants to achieve something great has to go through something like this and some sort of suffering. Like I said in the beginning as well, it's like, oh, you got to let go of good to go for great, which at the time felt amazing to say. But right now, I definitely, like I said, the doubt is there. It does creep in. At the end of the day, it's done. So there's nothing I can do about it. So I just got to keep working and keep pushing forward and make it work. It's all I got to do. And it brings me something that is helping me throughout this time is something that some people are not going to like this, but is that something that Andrew Tate said. He was spot on when he said, the whole thing of even when you're playing chess and you're in a losing position, at the end of the day, you just got to make the best move that you can make. I'm paraphrasing here, but just got to make the best move on the chessboard. Whatever's the best move on the chessboard, that's what you play. And that's basically what I'm doing. So that's I'm trying to obviously embody that and do that. And in saying that, to give an example, and the reason why I also decided to make this video tonight specifically was I went to a church service tonight, and I went to a church service tonight, and I was like, it was like a praise and worship prayer evening thing at the church. And I was like, okay, this is probably going to be good. Let me go. You can't, it's got to be good. Better than what I'm feeling now. I was feeling quite low today. So I went, and while I was sitting there, I was sitting just by myself. And so I was just sitting there and, obviously listening to the praise and worship, and we prayed a bit and whatnot. But, I was like maybe halfway through or something, and I just felt, like I shouldn't be here, or this isn't maybe right for me right now, and let me just leave. So I left, and I came home, and when I came home, I was like, okay, cool, let me work. So I start working. I'm adding some new features to PanelDesk. So I start working on that, and I start getting this overwhelming feeling of like loneliness, getting a little bit overwhelmed by everything. Is this going to work? Just basically just like, fuck, like, what am I doing? Apologies for swearing, but that's kind of where I was at, and yeah, it just wasn't really like bad space. So I was like, let me just go eat some dinner. And I open up the fridge, and there I've got a bottle of wine. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, you know what, maybe I should just dollar the bottle of wine, and I'm pretty sure I'll feel better. I laugh about it, but it's not a laughing matter. And I've never thought like that before, which was very surprising to me. And I was taken aback by that, because I was like, wow. Because I considered it, and I was like, you know what, it's probably a pretty shit idea. I shouldn't do that. But at the time, how I was feeling, I was like, fuck, who cares? Kind of thing. And then once again, I thought to myself, I was like, well, what is the best move to make right now? Is that the best move? And not just that, is that something I would be proud of if I did that? And obviously the answer is no, I wouldn't be proud of that. And then on top of that, I was like, would my future kids one day, if I told them that, would they be proud of their father saying that they did that? Of course not. And then ultimately, I was like, what would I want my father to do? And of course, it's not that. So I went to gym, trained, it was great, I feel a lot better. And I think that's also very important, is, we go through times, and then we are at a point where we can pick two paths. We can pick which way do we want to go. And in my case, there's two ways the night could go. And I do apologize if my mom is watching this. She's freaking out, and I do apologize, but I love you, Mom, and I promise you got nothing to worry about. But yeah, you got two ways to go about things, and sometimes you got more decisions to make. And it's just really important that you obviously make and do whatever is the thing that is best for you, and best that's going to move you forward and drive you forward, and basically help you out of that pit that you're in, and that get you out of that feeling that you currently have. Like, for instance, obviously I got this feeling and this way that I'm living right now, and way that I'm, in a bit of a cuck time. But if I was to go and drink or do whatever, it would probably help temporarily. I'll be frank, I've never done it before, but I'm pretty confident. I mean, I've drank, but I've not drank because of that. But anyways, I'm confident it would help and it would numb the things temporarily. And that's why people do it. But that is a temporary fix. And it's not a long-term, long-term, the better thing is to go train and gym and move your body and work on whatever you need to work on, and do that, and basically not sit there and feel sorry for yourself, and be like, oh, my life is so hard. You can't do that, because then your life is going to be hard forever. And to be frank, no one gives a shit about your life. No one truly cares where you end up, or whether you get your dream, reach your dreams, or achieve what you want to achieve. No one gives a shit. At least that's my experience so far, and that is my opinion for now. But yeah, no one cares as much as you would about you. Of course, it makes sense. Look, this is turning into a motivational speech, and I completely apologize for that. But I'm just rambling and speaking my mind at the moment. But anyways, the point is that no one cares about you or your life or anything as much as you do. And obviously, I am speaking to the camera right now because it is good to speak about it. But at the end of the day, speaking about it also doesn't really help anything. Okay, I'm going to speak about it. As soon as I stop recording this video, everything is going to be the exact same. Everything is exact same. My SaaS is still at $29 MRR. It's gotten zero extra cash because I chatted to this bloody camera. But so it doesn't really help. And only action, taking action on whatever you actually need to do is going to help, and to take you to where you want to go. Because in order to make yourself feel better, you need to obviously do what you want to do, and you want to achieve what you want to achieve, because that's what's going to bring you that happiness and take you out of whatever pit you're out of. So yeah, if that makes sense, makes sense to me. But yeah, anyways, I guess that is just the frame of mind I'm in at the moment. That's where I'm at. I think I'm going to try keep up to date with how things are going a bit better. So yeah, I'll see where it goes, see how things go from here. And yeah, tomorrow's Wednesday, so I'm gonna reach out to some panel beaters. Hopefully not get rejected some more. But yeah, I probably need to see and work my angles a little bit better. So yeah, we'll see about that. But yeah, thanks for listening if you did listen. And yeah, I wish you all the best, whoever you are on the other side, and I hope everyone achieves what they truly want to, as I know I want to.